will take place at the presidential villa in Abuja today. Yeah, and this is the first meeting between the federal government and organized labor since talks on minimum wage were put on hold on June 7. Might I also bring it to you the fact that the Supreme Court has reserved judgment on a suit filed by the federal government to secure full autonomy for the 774 local government areas, LGAs, and the federal government is seeking an order to stop state governors from appointing caretaker committees to administer local governments in their states and to pay local government funds directly from the federation account. So the suit it was filed by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, who's a son on behalf of the federal government, and the federal government wants the apex courts to enforce the autonomy of the local governments. Well, just to also bring that to you already, and the Supreme Court or the federal government wants the Supreme Court to rule that any local government manned by a caretaker committee instead of an elected local government chairman and councillors should have their funds from the federation account paid directly to the local governments rather than through the state governments. I should also let you in on the fact that the Supreme Court, okay, well, we already talked about that, and the federal government of Nigeria has announced plans to regulate the prices of imported foodstuffs to combat the high cost of food in the country. Now, the government is aiming to achieve this through a combination of duty-free imports, price controls, and support for local farmers. The federal government had come out to saying that a 150-day duty-free import window for food commodities out there, suspension of duties, tariffs, and taxes on food imports through land and sea borders, importation of 250,000 metric tons of wheat and 250,000 metric tons of maize, that they will also support small holder farmers during the wet season farming and all of that. And of course, we should also bring it to you again that it was on the front page of newspapers today. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Daily Trust newspaper or the Nation newspaper, that Nigerians, we are struggling to afford bread, a staple food in the country, due to the skyrocketing price. Now, the high cost of flour, sugar, and energy has forced many bakeries to shut down, leaving citizens to seek cheaper alternatives. Now, that brings us to the conversation that we'll be looking at today, right here this morning, and it will be about the Nigeria's economic challenges, minimum wage, and food crisis. Right? I'll be having my guest who's going to be joining us via phone call. It's not going to be all through due to the exigencies that are in front of him that he needs to attend to, which are very important. But he has said that he would also give us, some time off to have that conversation and go conversational. Isn't a person of Dr. Austin Maho is a lecturer and public affairs commentator, publisher Daybreak Nigeria newspaper, and we would co-join with him in a short bit as we go having a conversation. But let's just look into the conversation proper. Now, Nigeria being Africa's largest economy, is facing significant economic challenges. And these challenges affect its citizens' daily lives. Talking about your life, my life. We are all in this. The minimum wage and food crisis are two pressing issues that have sparked intense debate and concern amongst each and every one of us. Now, the Minimum Wage Act of 2019 established a minimum wage of 30,000 naira, which is up for review after expiring in April of 2024. All right, that's me giving you the right month, where it expired. Meanwhile, a severe food crisis has left many citizens struggling to access basic food items. So that's what we'll be looking at, as we'll be taking an overview look into the minimum wage situation and the Senate's call to action on hunger crisis in Nigeria, right? So the Minimum Wage Act of 2019 established a minimum wage of 30,000 naira for workers in Nigeria. The act requires a review of the minimum wage every 5 years to meet the contemporary economic demands of workers. And the current situation is the fact that the organized labor has demanded a minimum wage of 250,000 naira, while the federal government and the organized private sector, that's talking about the OPS, have brought about a 62,000 naira benchmark. The parties have been negotiating through a tripartite committee set up by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in January. But there are some key points that we need to also unravel. Now, the federal government has announced an additional 35,000 naira wage award, that's like wage subsidy, if you like, for 6 months, which was started from September 1 of 2023, making the total amount payable to a worker 65,000 naira per month. Now, the president is expected to send an executive bill to the National Assembly to pass a new minimum wage bill that should be signed into law. What is the implication of this? The implication is a new minimum wage will impact the economy. It will increase the cost of labor for employers and as well as potentially lead to higher prices for goods and services. That's what's going to happen. Now, the increase will also affect the budget and fiscal planning of government at all levels. Right, but there has been also talks about the fact that, hey, the increments may not just be what we need. We might just be needing, to get the borders working, get food importation, as the federal government has already, unveiled, and also allow for seeing that we build industries and consolidated on them so that they are able to also breathe fresh air. Right, and of course go operational, in executing their mandate of course adding to the IGP or the IGR as well as the GDP of our dear country Nigeria. But then on the other hand, if you also look at it about food crisis, Nigeria has also been facing severe food cuts or food crisis. Many of us struggling to access basic food items. I mean, Bibi Blessing called in earlier during the newspaper review, the pages, and of course she gave us what it felt like at the markets, the astronomical increment and the greed that also backs this increment by the commercial traders right there is really, really unacceptable, and is getting to a point where it gets to the neck high or the neck region where people might just say, you know what, I've had enough. Now, I'm not saying go the extreme, do not commit suicide. I mean, we've seen, the young man who climbed the 120 feet mast, just in protest of what's going on economically and all of that. I'm not saying do that. Don't go to the extreme, right? But I'm saying that it's getting to that point where Nigerians, are not able to take that anymore. And little wonder, maybe that's what is called for the Senate's call to action, where they've urged the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to declare a state of emergency on food security and take immediate action to address the crisis. Now, lawmakers have also warned that the situation is dire and that people's patience and tolerance are wearing thin. Now, the Senate has described the situation as an emergency, and that requires urgent attention. Lawmakers have expressed concern that the current poverty and hunger levels may actually lead to social unrest and instability. And that's what Nigerians, and of course, well-meaning Nigerians, you too listening to the sound of my voice, you've called in, you've said that as well. You've said that, look, if this is not indeed addressed, that we might just be having a crisis in our hands, and we do not even have the security apparatus to contain it, right? And we keep saying it, that the power is in the people, and it is necessary that government at all levels, leaders of several political offices, give ears to the plight of the people and listen attentively, listen good. I mean, we don't want situations where we hear, is it Aline Dume coming out to saying that, the president is unaware. Nobody is expecting an excuse from the president or from anybody around the president at a time like this, saying that, he's not aware. Because when the president took on that mandate and said, I was going to run for this position and all of that, he took on that mandate knowing fully well what he was getting into. And that means that he had come saying to Nigerians that, look, things will get better. I have the keys that will open every kind of door, and it will indeed allow for us to have, a regained prosperity. Little wonder the president, riding on the mantra of renewed hope, had said that, look, even though the hope was bleak in the past administration, I'm coming to give you a renewal of hope. Right? Hence, there is no excuse to be granted. But granted as well, the fact that there are people who have also come out to decry the fact that, hey, there might be some very powerful forces, as we heard very recently, powerful forces. There might also be the cabals, which we keep hearing cabals here and there. Cabals seem to be in every, sphere of the Nigerian society. I watched Dangote, given ears, granted an interview or at an African summit or something on business, I think, and he said that he was asked the question that if you had known that there were cabals, in the oil sector, would you have gone into it? He said, well, I did know. I knew. But then I didn't know that they were as strong as they are. In fact, he said that the cabal in the oil sector are stronger than the cabals that we know with drug trafficking and all of that. No, he said they are stronger than the drug barons. Now, if Dangote can say that, what picture does it paint? Yeah? So there is a need for the food crisis that affects not only rural areas but also urban centers to be addressed, where many residents are struggling to access affordable food. The crisis is leading or has led to increased malnourishment, malnutrition, particularly among vulnerable groups like children, pregnant women, the elderly, those with terminal illness. Prices skyrocketing here, left, right, and center. And Nigerians already saying, hey, we cannot take this any longer. And when I say Nigerians are saying this, it also aligns with the voice of the Senate right there, who have also called on the president and saying, look, President, if you were not aware, we want you to be aware this time. Nigerians are going through a lot, and something needs to be done fast to prevent social unrest and instability. Joining us now, Dr. Austin Maho will be going conversational with us. Good morning to you, Dr. Austin Maho. Hello, doctor? Hello? Good morning. Okay. Well, it's just a little bit of problem. Hello, Dr. Austin?
Yeah, hello.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, good to hear from you. Thank you for taking out time. Yeah, thank you for taking out time, out of your very busy schedule to go conversational with us. Yeah. Well, as it stands right now, we have two issues that we are looking at. Firstly, of course, the president would be given his 2 cents on what should be the new minimum wage today. In fact, in one of the headlines, it says that governors are wary of the outcome of that meeting with the president and the labor. So the president is meeting with the organized labor to talk about the what should be the new minimum wage. Labor is still insisting on 250,000 naira and all of that. And on the other hand, the Senate has actually come out to make a cry call, as some would want to call it, a lamentation call, right, to the president, saying that, hey, if you don't do something, declare state of emergency on food right now, food security, take immediate action to address the crisis. If you don't do something, it might just lead to social unrest and instability, because Nigerians are not having any of the patience messages anymore. That the time has come for that to happen. And we also got, Aline Dume, a senator, I think representing the Borno, constituents right there, had come out to saying that, recently saying that the president is unaware of what is going on in these regard, and that there are people, he calls them powerful forces, who are shielding the president from knowing what exactly is going on in the country. So, Dr. Austin,
It's,
What do you make of
it's
this?
a lot.
It's a
It's a
lot.
lot to take
Yeah.
in one program.
Right.
You know, that to say that the president is not aware, I won't believe that, because the president is a Nigerian. The president lives amongst us. So you can't have forces within the presidential villa who are so powerful that they will shield Mr. President from the daily realities an average Nigerian or Nigerians are going through. It is not possible. The president has access to social media. He has access to mainstream media. He has access to several programs like yours that discuss, topical issues that are happening in the economy, in the polity. So to say the president may not or is not aware of the reality confronting Nigerians as it relates to the state of the economy, I don't want to believe that. The president has a wife. The wife is going around the country holding stakeholders meeting. Even yesterday, the president held the Federal Executive Council meeting. Are you telling me that his ministers are not giving him briefing of what is happening all over the country? Oh, come on, David. Anybody saying that, I think, is just trying to gaslight us from the reality we are facing as Nigerians. Now let's come to the topic of the day, the state of the economy, the demand by labor for a new minimum wage. I think I'm happily the negotiation seems to have stalled, and a lot of Nigerians were worried as in what is happening. Why is the president not making any committal statement as regards the new minimum wage? Why does it seem as if labor may have come back on its struggle? But happily, the president definitely will make a pronouncement today, and we expect that whatever pronouncement he makes after his engagement with labor today will be one that will be to the satisfaction of labor, the state governors, and the organized private sector. The tripartite committee, as it's usually referred to, so that for once we can have a new minimum wage that is agreeable, to all Nigerians. Agreeable in the sense, not that we expect that the new minimum wage will be able to, will be able to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, or that is going to solve our economic problem, but at least we can have something that we will say as Nigerians we can work with going into the future and confronting our current economic problem. That is what we expect. However, the state of the government itself in coming up with a new minimum wage should equally pay attention to what Nigerians are going through. The level of poverty in the land is alarming. It's alarming, and we need to come up beyond the minimum wage. Government need to make serious intervention in the economy, in order to ameliorate the sufferings Nigerians are going through. Happily, I think is the minister, one of his minister of I don't think it's not Minister of Agriculture, who said that the prices of food will come down in Nigeria in about 180 days.
That would be January 2025.
But the question in the minds of Nigerians is, what happens between now and then?
180 days.
Yes. What happens between now and then? What other further measures can government put in place, to reduce the level of poverty in the country? If the level of poverty is so high, everybody in Nigeria now seems to be, not just the days of when you say you are living from hand to mouth is over. Nigerians are suffering, and the suffering demand is palpable. You can feel it, and we can no longer shy away from it. And government needs to put thinking cap, to try as much as possible to inject life into the economy. This is the planting season, not just at the national level. This is the planting season. Government at the sub-national level, the state, the local government, what are they doing in order to make sure that agriculture get a boost? Many state governors, beyond talking, we want to see action across board, so that by harvest season, we should be, from the ending of this year, we'll begin to see an improvement. You know, when you look at the rate of food inflation in Nigeria today, it's about 40%. How many people can cope? It is because food, cost of production of food, cost of transportation is so much that it is impacting, food inflation. It's so high. Cost of, and we are hearing rumor, which is worrisome, that the prices of fuel may be increased again, because government is claiming that it's paying so much. You say you remove subsidy for petroleum product, but you now turn around to say you are still paying subsidy. And the projection is that fuel may go as high as 1,000 per liter. I hope that consideration doesn't come to reality, or else Nigeria may be confronted with the Kenyan situation. Everybody is sitting with anger over government policy that has brought the economy to its knees. I hope government, in its wisdom, should not further push Nigerians to the wall.
So, Doctor,
because our backs as Nigerians is already on the wall. The economy is bad. We don't have a new minimum wage. We are still talking about it after several months. Negotiation is going on. And like I always say, when government wanted to implement this policy, the twin policy that is devastating the economy and devastating Nigeria, which is subsidy removal and floating of the naira against the dollar. Government didn't set up endless committees. There were no endless meetings. Government didn't consult. The Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration didn't consult with Nigerians to say this is what I want to do. He practically woke up in a whim and implemented these policies. Now that it is time to put measures in place to address the consequences of your policies, you are now setting up endless committees, endless deliberations that seems to be leading nowhere. I am hoping, like I said, that by the end of today, the federal government, after its meeting with Labour, should be able to come up with a national minimum wage that is agreeable to everybody. And the governors and the organized private sector should be careful, because they have, in the last few weeks, made statement that seems to indicate that even what it is, the 2,000 that the federal government has already agreed to, excuse me, that they have, that they have already agreed to is not agreeable to them. That many states, if they even implement the 62,000, will go bankrupt. If a state is not viable enough, and I have always canvassed this position, if a state is not viable enough to run as a state in the federation, that state should shut down. If as a state you cannot generate enough revenue to run your state, and you are complaining that you can't pay a minimum wage that has been agreed upon at the federal level, then that state should shut down. That state has no business being a state. And if as a governor you cannot come up with creative ideas to generate revenue internally within your state, you have no business being the governor of that state. So that excuse that state governors are giving to say we can't pay, if we try to pay, we will go bankrupt, cannot hold water under this condition. And the organized private sector itself should equally know that, look, we need to pay workers a living wage. What the federal government is doing is to set the basic minimum for minimum wage, to say, look, beyond this, the national, to set a national minimum wage, to say nobody should go below this. It doesn't mean that every other person, especially the private sector, cannot go beyond it. We expect a competitive wage regime in Nigeria, not one that leads to a lot of talk, a lot of pushback from the organized private sector to say it's not going to work.
Okay.
And we equally hope that when these new minimum wages patronize especially workers who patronize the private sector, it doesn't mean that the wage increase will lead to further inflation in the system. Right. I have never believed it.
Okay.
What we are looking at is a living wage, and it's about time. The national minimum wage is supposed to be reviewed every 5 years. The last increase was in 2019, and it's about time for a new national minimum wage to address the current economic realities that Nigerians are facing. And I think the meeting today, like I emphasized earlier on,
indeed, the meeting today, the meeting today would be a deciding point. Yeah,
should give us a final resolution to the issue that has dragged on for too long.
All right. Well, Dr. Austin, you've spoken comprehensive wisdom, though. I don't know if you still have some time more with us, but we just want to go pay some bills. We'll come back and then, of course, maybe take one more or two questions from you, and then we might just let you go, if that's okay. Yeah? Anyway, so that is what the conversation is about, and you should very be close to your phones now, because we'll get engaging in a short bit. But meanwhile, let's go pay some bills. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
My people, the thing where they happen for my area,
Do you think I will now find out that you have contract to bring fresh girls?
I brought you from the gutters. Who gave you all the connects? MDG who? Without me, you would have been nobody. But
Join Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Human Trafficking, MICAT, on I Wish I Knew radio drama every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let us join hands and kick human trafficking out of our communities. I Wish I Knew radio drama, brought to you by MICAT in partnership with the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and funded by the Embassy of Denmark in Nigeria.
Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, here to stay. You have a child of great potentials that need nurturing and guidance. What's that talent your child has that the world needs to know about? Or you want an improvement on your child? The Mastermind Talent Show MVP Edition is your answer. At Mastermind, we support exceptional young talent by giving them the confidence and resources they need to improve the world and to connect with one another. Do you have a talented child from the ages of 7 to 17 years? Then what are you waiting for? Your child can take home a whopping sum of 300,000 naira. Oh yes, registration is totally free. Make a video of your child showcasing his or her talent. Register and submit the video on our WhatsApp number 070-455-00087. Get approval and appear for our live audition 26th to 27th July 2024, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. The Mastermind is located at plot 924 Cadastral Zone AD, Central Business District, Abuja. For more information, call 070-455-00087, 070-455-00087. Mastermind, your child stands a chance to bring the prize home. Join the challenge today.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
I suppose it was inevitable. Eagles 102.3.
That's right, you're tuning in and locked on to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. We're still looking at the topical issue, Nigeria's economic challenges, minimum wage and food crisis. And yes, we've given you a background to the discourse. And our resource person, Dr. Austin Maho, has also added his voice to the conversation to flesh it up just a little bit so that we can have some ground understanding on the matter. What will be your take, in this regard, as we've seen the fact that the president would be meeting the organized labor today to discuss the new minimum wage, and of course, quite a number of expectations are, waiting to be seen as well as waiting to be heard in this regard. Well, the number for you to call to engage would be 0907 353 0044. The other number will be 0908 766 8888. And the WhatsApp portal number would be 0909 705 4450. Keep it short and simple. Go straight to the point. Attacking personality is a no-no. Please don't do that. Address the topical issue. And if you've got a piece of information, let's inform, each other, as well as looking forward to making Nigeria a better and a safer place. Like I said, if they do not want to be educated, if they do not want to be sensitized, if they do not want to be given briefs as to what is going on with you and I, it is our job to take this brief to them, and here is that rightful platform to do so. Numbers are open, like I said earlier on, and bring it on, and let's have the conversation. It's just going to be about you and I right now.
Advise the government to way out. If the government wants to solve the problem of food crisis in Nigeria, it's a very simple thing. You tell a private sector to go and import food that he has moved the tariff. What of the naira to dollar? 1,600 naira to dollar, and then I go and buy that in dollar come to Nigeria. How much do you think I will sell it? The price of food can't come down. There's people where government will food. Government will import the food by themselves. In airports, we have many cargo in airports there. If the government has called ambassador now in Thailand, Nigeria ambassador in Thailand, go to the company, buy rice for us. Within 24 hours, they will buy rice. If in Brazil, ambassador to Brazil, call him to buy something for you, we buy. We have cargo in the airport. They will fly down for nothing. They give them way to fly to Thailand, fly to Brazil. Within 3 days, they bring the rice, begin the offloading from state to state. And the government will put a control price. You see, everything will come down. Somebody is giving us 100 and something days for food to this. I don't know whether politicians, I don't know they have people to advise them. It's a very simple way. Tegari have do it. When there's a food crisis in Nigeria, Tegari do it. We appoint a Morobiko, the Minister of Transport, and then they started importing food to this country, and then they put price control. The people are talking about the price control. You can't put price control for private sector. They will hide everything from market. You can't get it. But if the government bring it and put price control within 2 days, you see that everything will come down. Thank you very much. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Elder Onaja, right there. He's talking about the fact that there should be a very strong, assiduous, responsibility on the part of the government to ensuring that the price controls, to the president saying that, look, it's time that we handle this, it's time that we look into this, it's time that you brought all of the mechanisms or agencies or whatever it is from in our arsenal, bring them all out now, because we've gotten to a place of dire, and Nigerians are indeed going through a lot. We don't know how much longer the patience that we've been preaching is going to hold. Well, taking this call now. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Yes, good morning to you.
Thank you, Master Udra. Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, Dr. Olajide.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome aboard.
On minimum wage.
Yes, please.
As of yesterday, today, the bakers reported that they are shutting down their bakery because of high cost of materials in baking the bread. I'm a living witness. There is a particular bread I normally buy 1,600. As of the day before yesterday, it moved to 1,900. So I have to hands up my hands. I didn't buy.
Right.
Now, when we talk of minimum wage, it's true. It's a true double-edged sword. If we demand 250,000 naira, definitely the bakery workers, their demand too will go up. And this high in remuneration of workers has not brought down the cost of prices in the market. Definitely it will aggravate it, because workers' demand in terms of wages and salary will be moved up. Somebody who has been collecting 10 naira before will tell you they want to collect 150 now. Definitely, that is one. Secondly, on the solution government is bringing, that in the next 3 months there will be enough food in the country through imports. And I ask, if this is done, will it be done with the tipping of a high? It has to be imported from those countries that we are exporting from them, and we are exporting from them. Finally, people can pass for price regulation. But Saudouak, it will be difficult in this part of the country.
Right.
You know why?
Why?
The local areas where this food are being produced, the farmer are not the one that brought it to, that bring it to the to town to sell. We have middlemen that goes about into villages and hamlets to buy up this food material.
Okay.
This food product rather, and they bring it to the town, and then they still put their own money. That is why it is very difficult to put a control price. The way we are buying Lagos will not be the same you buy in Abuja or in Maiduguri. The locations are different, and the main causes of this is that there is no mechanized production of foodstuffs.
All right.
That yes, so in this company you are producing this. This is the price you're supposed to bring it out. There's nothing like that. Everybody is producing at his own capacity. So how do you regulate such?
All right, Dr. Olajide. Thank you.
God bless Igwe FM.
That's right. Dr. Olajide right there making some strong statements. But then, just like BB Blessing had said earlier this morning, you might also want to consider the place of us, the sellers, also making it very difficult, life that is, in terms of the living standard in our dear country, within our society, within our localities right there, given the fact that, yes, they go out there to buy, and of course the factors, the other factors, transportation, hike in fuel, even some losses as a result of transportation and all of that should be looked into. But then it doesn't take off the fact that, look, we still have traders who constantly, unprovokingly or unprovoked would continue adding cubits of naira to what the existing price may have been. And that is also very worrisome. Hello and good morning. All right, that's a miss though. Keep it coming. Taking this call. Hello, good morning.
Good
morning to you.
Good morning. How are you? This morning.
I'm fine, BB Blessing.
This time around, we don't want to talk too much. I greet our guests in the studio.
Right.
I want to ask, this food where they want to call for Nigeria, where they want to, yes, you mentioned about a week. Week now, they say they go share for all Nigeria. What kind of food when we store for Nigeria?
Sorry, BB. Hello, BB. BB, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. You were asking a question. What's the question?
I say, this week, when you see the talk, they want to be that for another country, not give us the share for Nigeria, make the price of price, make the price of win, with the whole because and make the call down. My president won't do for us. I think what is president is supposed to do for us. Now, when we say we talk, what do we do? I think the advice when we want advise president now, one, new yam don't come for Nigeria. So president now, they not fit go farm again. How do we encourage these people where they know they go farm again? Where they say if they go farm, they go kill their day. Or you go farm, they say you must pay first before you harvest whatever you plant. I don't think they attack anybody for this radio, but we got to talk the truth. They say, how long are we be patient enough? Either for you for this radio and Nigeria, are we not be patient enough for 2008 with patience till now? What do we do? You give us the solution. What to do to food to come down for Nigeria? 3 things now we want for Nigeria for president. May he bring the price of fuel, may tackle off. We no even get government wey dey check the price of things wey we dey sell for this country. Even though other rights wey enter this country now, often more anything we no get people wey dey go check wetin we dey sell for market. If the bring food now, na the same thing amount wey we still dey buy am, now we go still buy am. Some go buy am, they go buy am, share for their self, go store am for shop. We go still buy am for cost. Why is it be like that? We no get government wey is supposed to check the price of things. Then we first of all tackle price of things for market. Then we now tackle issue of security. We now tackle issue of food. Three things, very simple. Guide our citizens to go farm. Give us what we want. You can see now, come on back, you cannot get 100 naira again. No more 100 naira. I've been saying it, nobody can talk. Please, may I answer my question from my bed, yes?
All right, thank you. BB Blessing right there, asking some very salient questions right there. Anyways, let's take this call. We'll get back with that, attempting an answer to it. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, good morning, please.
Yeah. I think I disagree with one of your callers that there is nothing we can do regarding to this price regulation.
Yeah, what's the name? Sorry, please.
Moses.
Welcome. Okay, Moses, let's get into it.
UD.
Yeah.
All the marketers, they have union.
Mm-hmm.
You know that?
Yeah.
Every price, high cost of price, they make decisions from their office. The government should have meetings with them. If government can have meetings with them and play price control, it will work. It will. Because they have union. Road transport has their union. Markets have their union. Call them. Government should come. In fact, they should avoid sitting in the office. Come closer to these people and discuss with them. Then another thing again, UD. Even you increase salary, it will not quit the challenge we are facing. Because our naira has no more value. Take 70 or 80,000 to the market today. You can't buy valuable things from the market. Government should also work out on how to do what? On how to make sure that will help the ordinary Nigerians. The economy should begin to work. How can we make our naira valuable? If you have little money, you can go to the market to have quantities of items. It will help the family. Then finally, the government should look at this oil subsidy. They didn't plan very well before they removed this oil subsidy. They didn't put many things as measures on the ground before the announcement was made.
Right.
They should come back again. If they try a system, plan A, it didn't work.
Right.
You change the plan B. Thank you. God bless you.
All right. Thank you, Moses, for that one. If you try plan A and it's not working, do well to look at plan B, C, D, or if possible, get to plan Z. It has to just work. Plan Z, if it has to be there, if that's where the answers lie, let's get on there. But let's also bring to your eardrums the fact that Nigeria's current food inflation rates stood alarmingly high, or stands alarmingly high at 40.1% as of in March of 2024. And that is revealed by recent data by the National Bureau of Statistics. And it's also very important to bring to your eardrums the fact that what we have as a current inflation rate in Nigeria now is 33.95, up from the previous of 33.69%. That is what is going on right here and right now in our country. And quite a number of persons have come out saying this is not acceptable as it stands right now. Okay, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Just recently, though, we should also give it to the federal government, saying that look, fertilizers would be given out there, so as to aid farmers in their businesses, especially in terms of the planting season, knowing fully well that the rains are upon us now, and it is expected the farmers are getting to the farms given the right security, environment right there, but the sharing formula is what Nigerians are also beginning to still talk about. How is this sharing formula going to be? How are the fertilizers going to be dispersed, or shared amongst these farmers? I hope it's not going to be hijacked by those who probably do not want to see the improvement of the common Nigerian man situation, right? Okay, well, the imported goods referred to by the federal government are intended to be injected into the market to assist in reducing the prices of food commodities and is not to be shared for free to Nigerians. Well, the government is planning to. The government's plan is to support or import food items such as rice, maize, and soya beans to increase the supply of these goods in the markets, and this should reduce the prices. It is also aimed at alleviating the suffering of Nigerians who especially are suffering or struggling to access affordable food due to the current food, crisis that we are experiencing right now. So these imported goods will be sold by wholesalers and retailers who will also sell them to consumers at a lower price when the current market than the current market rates. Yeah, so the goal is to stabilize the market as well as to make the food more available and affordable for Nigerians right there. However, it is important to note that the government's plan has been criticized though, and is still under criticism. Some who are arguing that important food items will not address the underlying issues causing the food crisis, such as poor agricultural practices, lack of investment in agriculture, the insecurity in some regions, and they have advocated for a more sustainable approach that prioritizes supporting local farmers as well as improving, food production in Nigeria. And when you also look at the fact whether or not this will affect, the skyrocketing prices and the value of, especially when the value of the Nigerian currency, that's talking about the naira, is at a loss. Well, it's quite a great question, though, Moses, you asked. But the plan to import the food items to reduce, prices may be challenged by the current, state of the Nigerian naira, and it is indeed experiencing a decline in value. And the higher import cost with a weaker naira, importing goods becomes more expensive, and the government will have to pay more in naira in terms to purchase the same amount of goods. You might also want to consider the increased prices, where the higher cost of importing goods may be passed on to consumers. We will be the ones to be bearing the brunt of this, and it would lead to higher prices for food commodities, negating the intended price, reduction, as it were. But then we're still hearing from you right there. Let's take a couple of messages right there via the WhatsApp portal. I see this one right now. It says, greetings to you, my brother Udrak Daniel. Greetings to you too. It says, this is Samuel from Kuje. It says, UD, these people have started again. During Buhari, it was, I am not aware. And now someone is telling us that the president is not aware of the happenings in the country. Who is deceiving who? Who are these cabals? Are they spirits or human beings? People are dying every day through hunger, and kidnappers and terrorists busy killing people every day, and they are telling us the president is not aware. Is he living in Nigeria or in the sky? Please, can they take expired drugs for medication? If minimum wage expired for how many months? Now, why do they want arbitrary removal of fuel subsidy and massive devaluation of the naira? The 150-day importation window will not solve any problems. Rather, it will end up enriching cronies of this government. The question is, what happens after the 150 days window? We will definitely revert to the status quo, and the suffering continues, in my opinion. The government should swallow its pride by reversing the removal of fuel subsidy and work on revaluing the naira. Have a nice day, you say, UD. Okay, Yusuf right there. We'll say to Abuja, he says he's messaging from. All right, we'll take another one now.